Did you know there is a disease that affects millions across the globe, yet many have never even heard of it? Welcome to our exploration of Leishmaniasis, an insidious illness transmitted through the bite of an infected sandfly. Despite its widespread prevalence, it's a disease that often flies under the radar, largely unknown to those who have been fortunate enough to evade its grasp. Leishmaniasis is not a new player in the game of global health. It has been silently wreaking havoc across continents for centuries, affecting vulnerable populations in over 90 countries worldwide. It's a disease that doesn't discriminate, affecting both humans and animals. Despite its global impact, awareness about Leishmaniasis remains surprisingly low. It's a silent epidemic that deserves our attention. So, are you ready to dive deep into the world of Leishmaniasis and discover some shocking facts? History buffs, you might find this interesting. Leishmaniasis is not a new phenomenon. Indeed, this parasitic disease has been a bane to humanity for centuries, if not millennia. Evidence of Leishmaniasis dates back to the time of ancient civilizations. Archaeologists have found mummified remains showing signs of this disease from various corners of the world. For instance, the mummified bodies discovered in the Andean highlands of South America exhibited lesions similar to those caused by Leishmaniasis. Moreover, early medical texts also bear testimony to the existence of this disease. The Ebers Papyrus, an ancient Egyptian medical document dating back to around 1500 BC, describes symptoms strikingly similar to those of Leishmaniasis. Even the renowned Greek physician Hippocrates, often referred to as the father of medicine, documented cases of skin conditions resembling the disease in his era, around 400 BC. So this is not some new disease but a long-standing adversary of humanity. Ever thought a tiny fly could cause so much trouble? It's astonishing, really. Sandflies, despite their minuscule size, are quite formidable. They are the primary transmitters of Leishmaniasis, a parasitic disease that affects millions worldwide. What's more intriguing is the sheer number of sandfly species that exist. There are over 700 species of sandflies known to us. However, only a fraction of them, around 70 to be precise, are capable of transmitting Leishmaniasis. These species aren't just confined to a single geographical location. They have a global presence, spanning across 98 countries. From the lush rainforests of the Amazon to the arid deserts of the Middle East, from the tropical climates of Africa to the temperate regions of Europe, these tiny insects have found a way to thrive. It's a testament to their adaptability and survival instincts. These tiny creatures have a global reach and a powerful punch. Imagine a disease with a range of symptoms as varied as the people it affects. This is the reality of Leishmaniasis. This disease doesn't follow a one-size-fits-all pattern. It's as unique as the individual it targets. Some people might experience skin ulcers, which can appear weeks or even months after the initial sandfly bite. These ulcers might be painless or cause discomfort, but they are often the first visible sign of infection. However, Leishmaniasis doesn't stop at the skin. In its most severe form, it can infiltrate and damage internal organs, leading to fever, weight loss, and enlargement of the spleen and liver. This form of the disease can even cause anemia, yet some infected individuals may show no symptoms at all, making it challenging to diagnose and treat. So from skin ulcers to organ damage and even silent carriers, the symptom spectrum of Leishmaniasis is truly broad. Yes, Leishmaniasis is a master of disguise, presenting differently in each individual. In this era of medical advancement, you would think we have a vaccine for everything, right? Not quite. Despite our best efforts and constant pursuit of scientific breakthroughs, we have yet to discover a vaccine for Leishmaniasis. This is a perplexing and frustrating reality, especially given that this disease affects millions worldwide. Research is ongoing, with scientists tirelessly working to unravel the mysteries of this ancient disease. Yet the complex nature of Leishmaniasis and its multitude of species makes the development of a vaccine a daunting task. It's a bit like trying to hit a moving target in the dark. This doesn't mean we are powerless, though. While the absence of a vaccine is a significant challenge, it only underscores the importance of prevention and control efforts. Until a vaccine is found, the best defense against Leishmaniasis is a good offense, maintaining rigorous control measures and raising awareness about the disease. The absence of a vaccine makes prevention and control efforts all the more important. Leishmaniasis is not picky about its victims. Even our four-legged friends are at risk. Yes, you heard right. Dogs, our beloved companions, can contract this disease too. It's not just limited to humans. Dogs, particularly those who spend a lot of time outdoors, are susceptible to the bites of infected sandflies. the primary carriers of the Leishmaniasis parasite. What's more, the implications are not just isolated to the canine world. Infected dogs can act as a reservoir for the disease, increasing the risk of transmission to humans. This is especially concerning in urban areas where dogs and people often share close quarters. The disease in dogs can manifest in a variety of ways, from skin ulcers and weight loss to severe organ damage. And much like in humans, there's no vaccine for dogs either. So, it's not just a human concern but an animal one as well. Because when it comes to Leishmaniasis, we're all in this together. Think a quick pill could solve the problem. Think again. Treating Leishmaniasis is far from simple. It's a process that requires time, patience, and a multifaceted approach. Why? Because Leishmaniasis isn't your run-of-the-mill infection. It's a complex disease caused by a parasite, and it demands more than just a one-size-fits-all treatment. First off, the type and severity of the disease dictate the treatment. Cutaneous Leishmaniasis might require topical treatments or minor surgery, while visceral Leishmaniasis, the more severe form, calls for potent anti-parasitic drugs. This isn't a quick fix. Treatment can stretch from weeks to months depending on the patient's response. And the journey doesn't end there. Post-treatment, patients often need follow-ups to ensure the parasite is completely eliminated and to manage any scarring or disfigurement. So if you thought you could shake off Leishmaniasis like a common cold, it's time to recalibrate. With this disease, treatment is a marathon, not a sprint. Leishmaniasis is not just a nuisance, it can be a matter of life and death. Now that's a statement that should make everyone sit up and take notice. This disease, transmitted by the bite of an infected sandfly, claims a significant number of lives every year. The World Health Organization reports that an estimated 20 to 30,000 people die annually from Leishmaniasis. That's a staggering number, equivalent to a small town disappearing every year. But let's bring this closer to home. Imagine a fully loaded jumbo jet crashing every week. That's the scale of the tragedy we're talking about. And here's the real kicker: these deaths are largely preventable. With early detection and proper treatment, the fatality rate drops dramatically. But in many parts of the world, these resources are not readily available. Untreated, the disease can lead to severe organ damage and ultimately, death. So let's not mince words here. Leishmaniasis is a silent killer. Ever heard of neglected tropical diseases? Leishmaniasis is one of them. These are diseases often associated with poverty and usually occur in tropical and subtropical areas. They're called neglected because they've been largely overlooked by medical science and do not receive as much attention or research funding as they should. Leishmaniasis falls into this category, primarily affecting populations in over 80 countries worldwide, most notably in parts of Asia, Africa, South and Central America, and Southern Europe. Despite its widespread prevalence, it doesn't make the headline news often, and thus remains largely unknown to the general public. This lack of awareness and underfunding means that many people who are affected do not have access to the necessary treatments or preventive measures. The World Health Organization has recognized this and is making efforts to combat these diseases, but progress is slow. Leishmaniasis, like many neglected tropical diseases, needs more attention and resources to combat its global impact. Remember when we said this disease has a global reach? We weren't kidding. The reality is that millions of individuals worldwide are at risk of contracting Leishmaniasis. It's a startling figure, isn't it? But what makes it even more alarming is that the majority of these individuals reside in some of the most impoverished regions of the world. These are places where healthcare resources are scarce, and the means to combat the disease are often out of reach. Take a moment to let that sink in. Millions of people living their lives with the potential threat of this debilitating and sometimes deadly disease looming over them. And it's not just in far-off lands. Leishmaniasis has a presence in over 90 countries, spanning 5 continents. From the lush rainforests of South America to the arid plains of the Middle East, this disease knows no boundaries. Millions are living under the shadow of this disease. The most shocking fact: there's still so much we don't know about Leishmaniasis. Despite the strides we've taken in medical and scientific research, Leishmaniasis remains an enigma wrapped in a mystery. The exact mechanisms of how the parasite interacts with our immune system, why it causes such a wide variety of symptoms, and how it manages to evade our immune response are still largely unknown. Even the transmission of this disease is shrouded in questions. We know sandflies are the primary carriers, but the specifics of how, when, and why they transmit the parasite are still being studied. The treatment of Leishmaniasis is another area where our knowledge is lacking. While we have treatments that can help, they're often complex, lengthy, and come with a host of side effects. Plus, they're not always effective, leading to relapses in many patients. So, you see, despite centuries of existence, this disease still holds many secrets. The fight against Leishmaniasis is far from over. We've uncovered some shocking facts about Leishmaniasis. From its ancient roots to the millions at risk today, this disease is a complex and persistent foe. It's a shapeshifter, with symptoms that vary greatly, making it a challenge to diagnose and treat. With no vaccine available and a complex, lengthy treatment process, it's a disease that needs our full attention. Its victims are not just humans but also our four-legged friends, and while it can be fatal, it's also a neglected tropical disease, often overshadowed by more well-known illnesses. This only underscores the importance of raising awareness about Leishmaniasis. There's still a lot we don't know about Leishmaniasis, but every fact we've shared today brings us one step closer to understanding and tackling this disease. Your role in this fight is crucial. Knowledge is power, and sharing this knowledge can save lives. Spread the word, stay informed, and let's fight Leishmaniasis together.